Keep trying.
Rip too hard, man. I'm too scared of getting a ticket. Fucking rip on this thing, dude. Motherfucking GSX-S1000. Yes, this is a fun bike, you guys. Guys, this is Scooter here with ya again. And I'm gonna take this time to catch up on some vlogs. Some moto vlogs. Yeah. So hey, yeah, we are on our way back up to, we're headed to Aberdeen on the Coast Highway. And then we got a slow person right here. Very, 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 very slow person. I'm gonna go ahead and pass him. Anyway, so we are almost at 5,000 miles. So we're gonna call this milestone. We're gonna call this milestone the 5K review of the GSX-S1000. And you know what? It took me 5,000 miles before I could pronounce the model number correctly. GSX-S1000. Like, it takes a lot of practice. But anyway, all jokes aside, that looks like a trooper right there. Anyway, so two of them. So anyway, that truck gave me a little heads up there, which was nice. I thought he might have. So yeah, we don't. I was just talking about getting monstrous tickets. We just don't want that. I like riding and I like to keep my license, but I digress. So 5K review of the GSX-S1000. It is a really, 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 really awesome motorcycle, and you can't go wrong by buying it. Review complete. No, you want specifics, don't you? I bet you do. I'm going to try to run through them in a concise manner. So let's talk about the one thing that everybody loves about a motorcycle. I mean, it's kind of like, are you a breast man? Are you a butt man? Or whatever? It's kind of the same way with motorcycles. I mean, what intrigues you most about the beast? Is it the engine? Is it the suspension? Is it the brakes? Is it the gearbox? Okay, all those other things are great, but they're just not as cool as the engine. So let's talk about the engine first. Derived from the K5 Suzuki GSX-R racing platform, and I can't really get into the specifics of the engine, but it's tuned slightly differently, tuned for a little bit more low end. And I think this thing comes in rated at I think she's got about 76 foot-pounds of torque at the wheel, if I'm not mistaken. Around 140, 142 horsepower, which is, God, this is my second street bike. So a little bit of background, I went from a Ninja 650, I rode that for a couple years, and then I recently got this back in April. So this is my first leader bike, I guess you'd say. So yeah, engine, it's just awesome. It's so much fun. It sounds so good. It's very smooth, and very smooth in the bike. I don't get any vibrations, maybe a teeny bit at the foot pegs, you know, when you're kind of romping on it, but let's be honest, who gives a shit about that? It's a tiny little bit of vibration. If you're that picky, then I don't know what to tell you. Otherwise vibration free. I even took the factory bar end weights off and I put these. They are kind of knockoff CRG mirrors, Bike Masters. I think I paid $75 for the pair. So they're not cheap garbage by any means, but they're not, you know, you're not what you pay for the CRG mirrors. These probably would have been $150. They would have been, you know, at least twice the price. So good news, no vibrations, which is great. So yeah, great engine, great sound, great exhaust sound. It's a little quiet for a stock bike, but I mean, if you want it louder, then you put your full exhaust on there and call it good. So engine is just no complaints. Suzuki does have this really nice feature now that you might not be aware of, that they have a one-touch start. So if the bike's in neutral, with your kill switch on naturally, you just pop that starter once, blip, and the bike starts up perfectly. So that's a really cool feature. I do like that. Next, let's move on to the suspension. You know, it's not going to be something you'd find on a super high-end bike, but it does have an inverted front fork, which is good. So I like that. It's quite tight. I think I'm 210 pounds. I'm kind of a fat ass, and it's got some pretty tight suspension out of the box. I haven't really had to do anything to it. I haven't felt the need to do anything to it. So suspension wise, no problems. I feel very confident on it, and that's with the stock Dunlop tires. God, I think once I get some Angel GTs on here, this thing is just gonna be fucking sticky. It's gonna be ridiculous. So yeah, great tires. Let's move on to the tires. Some stock Dunlops, they're not bad. You know, they grip pretty good, I think. So I'm only gonna be extra amazed when you know, when I put those Pirellis on. It's gonna be sweet. So yeah, tires are all right. Like I said, I've got 5,000 miles on this thing, and they don't really show that. There's a little bit of wear on the outer edge. I commute, and I do some ripping from time to time, so they've held up really good. I've heard of guys saying they're getting around 5,000 miles off them. I don't know how hard they're riding their bikes, but I'm not that hard of a rider, so I mean, they look good to me. They look like they'll last another few thousand miles easily, so great value there. The gearbox, it's a 6-speed gearbox, but it is really nice gearbox. I love it. Once again, I don't have a lot of comparison, but when you put it up next to my Ninja 650, this gearbox is butter, and that one was really clunky. So, and nobody likes clunky gearboxes on a sport bike, so no complaints about the gearbox whatsoever. It's really, really awesome. Let's move on to the dash, okay? Which I think is a huge thing with a bike. That was weird. I want a nice looking dash, okay? So I don't like some of, like on the FZ09 has that weird like offset dash. I just don't like that. I like my dash right in the middle. I know on a street, like on a street triple, for example, I should have warned those guys about the cops. Oops. Anyway, on the street triple, the dash seems to like set way down low. It's really weird. I didn't ride one, but I sat on one because I was possibly looking at a street triple. Didn't like that. This dash, I love this dash. It's got a lap timer. It's got a gear indicator. It's got a fuel range indicator. It's got two trip functions. It's great. It's really great. Everything's really easy to read. You can even customize the LED on the RPM gauge, which is really cool, which is what I did. I just kind of stumbled on that on YouTube, so I thought that was really cool. So dash-wise, it's great. I love it. It's just really cool. And I think that's an overlooked feature, like underrated feature on a bike, the dash. Great. And as you know, the GSX-S is naked. I specifically was looking for a naked bike. I like the fact it doesn't have fairings, so when I have to do things to it, I don't have to spend God knows how long it takes to remove the fairings on some of these bikes. I put a Power Commander 5 in this thing, and literally you take off a few of these panels. It takes like 5 minutes. It's so easy. Changing the oil is really easy on it. Oil filter's located right behind the pipes in the front, so it's really easy to get access to. The chain is really easy to, look at that view, you guys. That's awesome, right? That is beautiful. The chain, really easy to adjust, and I love that. I think a key feature to a motorcycle, especially if you're a novice, is the ability to, you know, work on it easily, you know. And on this bike, I do plan on taking on more aspects of its maintenance. So, yeah. Anyways, let's talk about the bike a little bit more. The seat, it's decent. It's not the best in the world, but it's decent. Saddleman does make a replacement seat. I have looked into that, because let's see how many miles I put on this weekend. 462 between yesterday and today, so a good seat. Oh shit, I want to go this way. I'm not paying attention. Yeah, good seat, important. And if you don't like the seat, Saddleman does make a replacement, so you're good to go there. People say, is it fast? I don't know. Is it fast? Does it seem fast? Does it seem fast to you guys? I don't know. It's pretty fast. This is a third gear roll-on right here. Let's get around this corner and do a little third gear roll-on. We'll get an idea of what we're looking at here. Let's get after, let's let these cars go by. I must be careful. Alright, so, wow. We got a turner or what? What do we got going on here? We got a sheriff. Well, what is he doing? Okay. I don't know what's going on here. I hope he's not coming after me. Anyway, let's wait a minute on that third gear roll on and see if he's not coming after me. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it so far. Good God, there's some cops out here today. Woo! I have to be careful. Careful. Yeah. Okay, let's get around this corner. Just get away from this little sheriff. We'll do some third gear roll on. 60. We'll do 60 miles an hour here. So here we go. Get it about 60. And let's do some third gear roll on. That's about what you're looking at right there. That's your third gear roll on. Maybe that guy in the truck thought he was busted or something. I don't know. So, let's go back down to 60. And here's some 6 gear roll on. It's good, man. And I tell you what, once it's an inline 4. So, once those RPMs pick up, this bike really gives you a really nice slingshot effect. I love it, man. It's not like insanely crazy. It's predictable because you know it's going to happen, but it's really fun. This thing will really just flings you, man. It feels like a rocket. So that gives you somewhat of an idea. Do keep in mind that I have the Power Commander 5 installed, and I did that to alleviate some of the snatchy throttle, which, let's use that as a segue into that topic. Some of these bikes coming out of the showrooms, and I've heard it varying. Some of them are snatchy, some of them are not so bad. It just depends. Mine was snatchy. It was pretty bad. Like if you're going in first gear or second gear and you hit a bump and you jerk that throttle, dude, it would really jerk you pretty good. So not cool. I did not like that. And I had heard from a lot of people, oh, the Power Commander fixes it. So I got a Power Commander. I got it off Revzilla. I think it was like, I got it on sale. It was like $2.99. And I was like, sweet, $2.99, I have to buy it. So I did. And I am not regretting it. On this particular bike, very easy. I did a video on it. I didn't do an install video, but I am mechanically retarded, and I did it. I put it in and probably took maybe an hour or so to put it in, and kind of easy on the GSX-S. Like I said, minimal fairing removal. Plug the connectors in. The instructions are really good that come with it. Plug the thing in, and your bike runs totally different. It runs a lot richer, a lot better. So yeah, can't recommend that enough. If you do get one of these, you know, a 2015, 2016, 2017, this bike here is a 2016 with a 2017 ECU in it, or ECM, what do they call it? Yeah, because they can be quite snatchy from the showroom, so you have to be careful. Like I said, my first thing to do was switch the ECM because Suzuki will do it. That looked like a fucking sweet road. Every time I pass one of these roads, I just want to hit it. So, yeah, the ECU swap did not do a thing. If anything, it actually might have even made it worse. So, yeah, I'd say if you're getting this bike and you feel like if you feel like it's snatchy, then just go ahead and plan on buying a Power Commander. And you know, a lot of people are gonna bitch about it, but it's a $300 mod that like opens up your bike, allows you to put different maps and everything on it later. You can get a dyno tune, you know, whatever. So totally worth it. The only thing I've done to this thing, aside from the Power Commander and the ECU swap, is cosmetic stuff. Like I said, I got rid of the bug antenna mirrors. I freaking hate those things. Terrible. I got these knockoff levers, shorty levers. They're Revit levers. I got them from Amazon, and they were like, oh, I don't know, I think $39.99 for the pair. And they're really nice levers. I mean, if you have to have like the CRG racing ones, go for it. I mean, they're freaking great, but for me, it's a little bit overkill. So I'll save money when I can, but the levers are the best upgrade, I think, the best performance upgrade that you can do in 5 minutes, because it only takes 5 minutes to put those on. So don't be intimidated by that. What else? I put on the Suzuki OEM dark smoke fly screen, which I think looks cool. It does requires you drill a couple holes in the fairing, but it's super easy. It has the holes marked on the underside of the fairing, like to install the little bars that hold it. It's super easy, man. So anybody can do that. I did that, maybe took, I don't know, 45 minutes or something. There's actually a really good video on YouTube. It's called Install GSX-S Fairing, and that's what he meant by this. So yeah, you got that. Great. I put these Vagabond frame sliders there. They're also my cruising pegs for when I get tired. So really good. These were kind of on the spendy side. They were like, I want to say like $129 or something. Totally worth it. Great instructions in them, and I think they'll help protect the bike in the event of a crash. They are a big, hefty, beefy knob, so I think they'll protect the bike a lot better than the T-Rex ones. The one with the little bracket and the puck. Those things don't look like they would do jack squat to protect your bike. So that's just my opinion. Don't like the looks of them. They don't look that sturdy. So yeah, so Vagabond fender eliminator as well. Probably not the best looking one out there, but it was a lot less money than the Yoshimura one, and I think that's the only other one they make. It's cool. It has a little mounting solution to allow you to use the stock turn signal and license plate light, so I thought that was kind of cool. I do plan on switching out the amber colored turn signals for some, I don't mind the size of them, but I want some white turn signals, and I want some white rear turn signals to match my tail light, which is, it's white, a white LED. So, and that was stock as well. So I think that's all I can think of. I mean, I think that's all I did to the bike. You guys, bottom line is, bang for your buck. This bike is just freaking amazing. It's fast, it handles really great, it's got great brakes. Oh, brakes, yeah, real quick. Brembo front caliper, ABS, and 3-mode traction control. I don't use the traction control a lot, only when it rains. You can see I got the traction control off, so I don't really use it that much. Yeah, so there's that. But it's good, like, especially if you live in like a really rainy climate, it's really good for that. So definitely nice to have if you, I mean, and the Pacific Northwest is rainy. I personally just don't ride in the rain very much, so I mean, if I get caught in the rain, cool, it's nice, I can throw on the traction control, but other than that, I don't use it. I don't feel like it affects like the performance of the bike very much, so it doesn't like gimp the motor or anything that I know of. I just like it better with the TC off. If I'm cruising around on dry roads, I just don't see the reason for it. So that's just me. But yeah, value on this bike is just unparalleled, I think, for what you get, the performance, the features of this bike, and I'm all about that. Until I can afford a Aprilia Tuono, I'm going to be very, very happy with this bike, and I will have this bike for several years, I guarantee it. It's got plenty of power. It's got more power than mostly anybody's ever going to need, really. I think it would make a really good track bike, aside from its lack of wind protection, which when you get up over 100 does kind of become a factor a little bit. So keep that in mind. I'm used to the wind by now, so it doesn't really bother me that much. My neck muscles are fucking strong. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions about the bike, anything at all, I always try to answer the comments. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know, what you think. Are you on the fence about buying it? Is there anything I can do to convince you to buy it? That's how much I love this bike. I smile every time I get on it. So, sorry, quick couple other things here. Alright guys, seat height, this is an important thing a lot of people don't talk about. I am a shorter guy, I'm 5'5", so my options on bikes is kind of limited, depending on how much foot contact I want to have with the road. I already know I'm not going to be the kind of rider that is going to be satisfied with having tiptoes on the concrete. It just doesn't feel stable for me. So I don't care for that. And I know, people of my height are, that was good, somewhat limited on bikes. Like, I can't get on like an R1 or I can do like probably a GSX-S1000, but I can't do like a R1 or even R6 or even I think a CBR 1000 RR. Those things are kind of too tall for me. I also looked into, when I was looking for bikes, I had considered the FZ10, FZ09, and quite honestly, those bikes are just too tall for me. I don't know. The seat height, coupled with how the seats are cut on them, they're just not made for someone with a small inseam. So, this bike, however, does work pretty well for me. I have a more than tippy-toe contact with the concrete, so if that's a factor for you, this bike will probably be okay for you. Seat height of just over 32 inches. So keep that in mind, and you can install a lowering link, or you can have the suspension professionally lowered. And from what I understand, doesn't really affect the bike's handling that much. Some people say, oh my god, it's gonna ruin the bike, whatever, but I don't think so. And especially if you're not taking it to the racetrack all the time, they're worried about scraping the pegs. I don't think lowering it an inch would really hurt much of anything. So like if you have a decent inseam, you'll be okay on this bike. And you know, when you're going to look at motorcycles, just go sit on a bunch of them if anything. So yeah, seat height is important. So should be okay if you're 5'5", 5'4", or better. You should be fine. All right, so bang for your buck, performance. Gosh, I give this thing, like, honestly, for me, as coming from a Ninja 650 and being a fairly new rider, I cannot find a single fault with this bike. I love this thing. It is such a blast. So, and I'm not going to be one of those guys that says, well, it doesn't have any wind protection. No shit, it doesn't have any wind protection. It's a naked bike, and you knew that when you bought it, you son of a bitch. So don't act stupid. Yeah, that's Mike. Sorry about that mini rant, but yeah, people can be pretty dumb. Personally, as a last year's model, 2016, I picked this up for a leftover. It was brand new, it had never been serviced, and I paid $85.99, you know, before tax and all the bullshit fees and shit. So, you know, it's pretty damn good, I think. I think it's for $8,500, I mean, my goodness, you can't go wrong with that. So, I love it. And like I said, if you have any questions, shoot them into the comments. I will answer you. You can message me, whatever, man. I'm here for you. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. So let me know. And I promise you, I stake my YouTube reputation on it. Scooter from Pacific Northwest Sport Bike Life. You will love this motorcycle.